Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 79 of Sold with Updike Pugh.
I'm Jeff Updike.
I'm Weston Pugh, and welcome to the Shelter in Place series. Jeff, how are you doing over there?
I'm doing pretty good. Pretty good. This has been a really good week around my house. So, just
Excellent.
staying home, staying safe. Adrian got out of the hospital this week, so
Awesome.
that
That's
was
great.
great.
How are the puppies doing?
They're doing really well. We had a little dog fight yesterday between the tenant's dog and ours. But everybody made it through. There was just like a little smidge of blood, but it wasn't enough to be worried about. So.
The even the dogs are feeling the tension from the shelter in place. It sounds like
That is so true. Oh man. So anyway, well, how are you doing? How are you surviving?
I have continued doing the workouts. I am moving extremely sore this morning. Who knew that you could do so many body weight squats that you could be sore the next day? Oh my gosh. And aside from that, I think the big thing is this is like one of those times when you kind of dig through your recipes, figure out what's good and what's not. And I think that I have realized that I do not like swordfish.
Okay. That's interesting.
So there's some other stuff. I do like ribs. We did learn that I do like ribs real well.
Yeah.
Swordfish is not my thing. So,
Yeah.
well, I think that one of the things that you and I have been lucky enough with Berkshire Hathaway, the Ebba Halliday, Dave Perry Miller, and Williams True brands is that we get these amazing updates, both weekly and from Chris and also from Anthony Jackson, the Vice President of Finance and Operations. And last night we got the one from Anthony, and he had some really great talking points.
Yeah, he really did. And it's I think a lot of it's stuff that you and I are already feeling and kind of seeing out there, but it's good to hear somebody that kind of looks at the business a little differently than you and I do,
right?
Reinforce what we're feeling and what we're seeing.
Yeah, and it's interesting. There were different aspects, like, so, my background coming from new home sales, one of the indicators that different economic groups are looking at is new home construction. And they're talking about how, yes, that they're actually down in starts, but that the new home industry has not actually given up, that they are adapting to this, and they still have their sales centers open. It is a by appointment. So that's one way that we're looking at how to be safe. And the other indicator that they brought up that I thought was really important is that they're reporting that their supply chains have not broken down, which is a really, for all of us, that is wonderful news, knowing that these homes can still be built and this economy can still continue to grow once we're allowed to ease up on the shelter in place.
There, on my street, there are 5 new construction homes going up right now. Wow. And not a one of them has seen a slowdown. I was amazed yesterday as I left and went down to the grocery store that there was a huge semi flatbed trailer pulling up to one of them that had, probably enough wood to frame a house.
That's great. That's the supply chain that we're talking about. One of the other things too that Anthony brought up was that the economy would be coming back more in a gentle format rather than being a switch, which is interesting. It'll be really interesting, and he doesn't say, but we're curious of what industries we'll see come back first. What will be what's the next wave of essential industry that is allowed to open?
Yeah, one of the other points that he made that we're already seeing is some of the tightening of the lending guidelines are happening again, and I will tell you, I got a little nervous there for a while because there were a couple of lenders that were talking about doing the no doc loans again, and that was one of the great downfalls in the Great Depression in 2008 to, I don't know, whatever you count it to be, 2011 or 12.
Right.
And I was really kind of happy to hear that that's tightened up a smidge. I know a lot of the bigger banks have gotten out of the jumbo loans, but there still are a lot of lenders out there that still will do the jumbo loans.
Yep. One of the other points that Anthony was bringing up was the fact that across North Texas, both sales and new listings were down, and they then compared them to a year to date to Ebby, Williams True, and Dick Perry Miller, and they were also down, but the amount that they were down was significantly less. And I think that when Jeff and I were like trying to figure out what do we think, and there's just some key indicators, the tools that we were provided, the updates, and I think just the scope of the agents in general, having such a long history with their clients and with the different companies, that it's provided a continuity, a safe space, and a real market knowledge of what's happening, and transactions still continue.
Yeah, they do. And, one of the things that we've really experienced this time that I think was very different in the last recession was this time we've had virtually no cancel. We have had 0 cancellations on anything that we've had under contract since it started. Every one of them appeared that they're moving forward. And, fortunately, we had all of our buyers this time were in, somewhat insulated industries. And so, they're really taking advantage of the market right now because, there are some smoking good deals out there if you find the right property, and, interest rates are down once again.
Yep. Kind of talking about more of the local and what we're doing is last night we had twilight shots done on one of our listings that's coming soon. And it was interesting in talking with the photographer how we've seen, so he has seen a lot of the agents now getting ready for when it's the shelter in place begins to relax. And so a lot of them are getting ahead of the curve, kind of like what we're doing, and having coming soon photography done, so that he's afraid that what's going to happen is that he's going to have 80 phone calls in 1 week photography. Because Jeff, how many houses did they talk about in our office meeting on Monday that were coming soons that everybody was talking about?
There were 20 or 25 coming soon listings that they at least wanted to get the initial info out on and let our company know is in the market.
So it's just this interesting, like, where everybody's ready, because we talk about the health of where we were before we jumped into this, and that being like the lending guidelines hadn't gone out of whack. You and I talk about how many times people have healthy money that they're bringing into a transaction when they purchase versus an interest-only ARM or whatnot, getting in with no money down. And so you see more and more people, here we go, they're ready. If they're ready to sell, they can,
Yeah. And, really, I think a lot of people believe, and I believe, that the real estate industry is what's going to lead us out of this recession.
I 100%, I feel that very strongly. There are so many good indicators out there for us, where we have been, like what we were just talking about, and yet where we still have to go, especially in this North Texas area where we have good job market, we have a healthy state economy. There's just so many good aspects that we are experiencing and have to really consider ourselves blessed to be in.
Yeah, I would agree. And here's I wanted to tell you kind of a good story that a friend shared with me, and I think it kind of points to long-term investments, and real estate being one of them. What value they have. This friend of mine had worked for one of the big utility companies 30-something years ago for a few years, and his wife gets a lot of spam calls, and so she was getting calls from this one phone number. They were leaving messages, and they were real cryptic on the message, and so it took them several times for her to finally return their call, and they were wanting to talk to her husband, and so the husband called the phone number back, verified who it was, and it turns out that it was one of the big investment firms who was managing a pension fund for employees that worked for that big utility company. And the good news in it is, it turns out he's got almost $60,000 in unfound money. And he worked there for a few years, and he put money into a pension account, and he just forgot about it. And now 30 years later, they're sending him a check for almost $60,000. So it just it points to long-term ownership of whether it's a pension fund. We can show the same thing happens in real estate a lot of times, and you just have to you have to ride the ups and downs, and
so you're headed in the direction that I was like, in my head, I was like, oh, can I ask this question? So not to be the devil's advocate, but think about what if that initial money had been used as a down payment on an investment property, and say, what do you think over the life of something that they spent maybe $60,000, $70,000
Oh
in
yeah,
upkeep, maybe? And
maybe.
what do you think the return on that investment, say, just on a
Well,
house?
gosh, what's it going to be? 100 times what your initial investment was, probably, because if you when you're buying investment property, many times you've got an income source from that
Right.
helps offset the cost, and maybe it doesn't cash flow. Maybe you lose $100 a month or something like that. But when we talk to people, we say you look at that as you're putting it into a savings account, because at the end of the day, you're going to end up in a really good position with it. So
Yeah, it is amazing. Even in my little neighborhood, you were talking about, you saw like a ton of lumber go over to one of the new constructions in your house. I live in a neighborhood that is the definition of gentrification. And I was
yeah,
telling you before we jumped on that there's another house that's about to be demoed. And these little houses, I think that they were paying like probably between 30 and 70,000 for them. And now the
wow.
loan sells for 400 over here. It's
Mm,
so
mm,
amazing,
mm, mm,
So,
mm.
well, good
Crazy.
news. Good news. Um,
Yeah.
what do we got next, Joe?
We were talking about. We wanted to share with everybody about how how things have changed so much, and so we have, from our company perspective, our agent base has been given a really strict protocol in terms of how we show property, how we list property, and just protecting both the buyers and the sellers. And you and I were going to kind of talk about how we have like adapted that protocol, and then kind of even taken it to another level.
I think that a lot of times people are like, how am I going to get into the house, and how do I stay safe, and how do I keep, and how the people that are letting you show the house, how do they stay safe once you're gone? And
Mhm.
I think one of the things that you and I were talking about, and it was to actually have the Lysol hand wipes, not only a mask, and gloves, but actually have the wipes, so that as you're walking around, if you want to open the door and look in a specific closet, or if you wanted to see what the cabinets were like under a certain area, that you could touch these things but yet not leave anything behind for the current homeowner.
Yeah, yeah, and it's a matter of us having kind of a listing care kit put together, so that we know that house is going to be taken care of when we bring it on the market. It it's we are all dealing with the issue of, why would I let somebody in my house right now? And at some point, this is going to turn. I can certainly understand, today, occupied listings being very cautious about that. Vacant listings, like our vacant listings, have been shown like crazy, because there are buyers and sellers that are still out in the marketplace.
Yeah, it is the big question. And again, we're not trying to say, oh, just run out there and do this. There are safety measures in which, both Berkshire Hathaway and Ebby and all the brands below Dave Perry Miller have put into to use. And
Mhm.
then just the common sense and logic about what we need to do that we're hearing out there on the news.
Right, right. Well, let's talk about the two houses that we went and looked at this week. The
Yeah.
couple of listings that are new on the market.
So we're going to do things just a little bit differently. Typically, Jeff and I will take and have a run of some really great images, and then just kind of voice over those. But today, what we wanted to do was actually show you a hyperlapse of us showing you the home, so that it kind of correlates with how you and I have been showing clients that want to see houses but don't actually want to go in there. And this is a really great example of that. And so the first one that we're going to take a look at is 6206 Royal Crest Drive, and this is in North Dallas,
Mhm.
75230, and it is an amazing listing.
Yeah, it really is. This is really very conveniently located, just north of Royal and Preston Road. It is, just minutes from 635, minutes from the tollway.
Right.
This is one of those neighborhoods that is just north of where all of the storm damage was from October, and so
Right.
this house was virtually untouched.
Yep. And this is a 4 bedroom, 4 full, 2 half bath, and it is a 2 car garage. It's 4,956 square feet. And it's predominantly a 1 story, but they do have a really great game room on the second floor.
Mhm. Yep. And it's I think basically $1.2 million. You get a lot of house for your money there.
Yep. Yep. Well, the little video will show, and you can look through it and see what's happening in there. And we want to say thank you so much to Karen Fry for letting us highlight your home.
Absolutely. Thank you, Karen.
Yep. And so now we're going to move over to East Dallas, and this is in the Lockwood neighborhood, and this is 11119 Sinclair Avenue, and that's 75218. I got all these ones in there. I had to make sure.
It was, man, that was when we were trying to put it in the map the other day. It was like, how many ones is that again?
Like, okay, here we go.
Yeah.
But this is a really great area of Dallas on the east side.
Mhm.
Such a quiet neighborhood, and this is one of those neighborhoods that has quite a few mid-century moderns. There's also quite a bit of topography, and I believe that was a green belt that was directly in front of this with a little creek running through it. So amazing little space.
Mm-hmm. And this is a 3-bedroom, 2-bath home, 2-car garage built in 1955. And this home has just been updated so well and done so beautifully. You know, many times the house is only about 1,500 square feet, but many times they're trying to fit everything that people want today into that square footage is difficult. And the owners of this have done just an immaculate job in not only making every space fit well, but it all feels very what do you call it, Weston? The spatial,
it's congruent.
Yeah.
I would say everything matches. And a lot of times we run into people who are not from Dallas. Dallas has very specific taste, and this is what so many home buyers actually want. The way that it fits, the way that they've done the design selects,
Mhm.
the little renovations they've done here and there. It is a dream. And this one is priced at $445,000, and this is also a little bit larger of a lot. It's a 0.313 of an acre, so you get a great house on a great lot as well.
Yep, very, very, very great. And that Lockwood neighborhood is one of those that it is such a cohesive neighborhood. It's a large geographic neighborhood, but so many people like it, love it, and just, you know, love living there.
Yep. And we want to say thank you so much to Debbie Sherrington for letting us highlight your new listing on the market.
So if you have any interest in seeing either one of these homes, or if there's anything out in the marketplace that you would like to see, give us a call. We'd be happy to share what our showing protocol is and how we kind of go about that. One of the things that we will do is go out and create this type of video for that home, so you can see it more. You get a better feel of walking through it than you do with just the static pictures.
Yep. And if you guys will hold on, we've got a quick commercial and we'll be right back.
There are lots of ways to keep up with us. Visit and like our Facebook page to watch us live and get updates about future show topics. Also, visit our Instagram page where you can see the latest homes that we have for sale. You can also check out our website at updikepugh.com, where you can create customized searches of active and sold homes that you find of interest. If you're interested in how much your home is worth, visit homeprice.fyi and you can get a price instantly. Just enter your address and a couple of pieces of information about your home, and we will email you a price. Last of all, you can reach out to us by phone or text at 214-377-2223. Hi, everybody. Welcome back to episode 79 of Sold with Updike Pugh.
We hope you have enjoyed today's show. We hope that we have inspired you to contact us if there's something that you want to see. If you've got a house that you're thinking about putting on the market, we would also love to hear from you and kind of go over what we see as some of the critical things that we can do to make sure that you and your family are safe during this time of sheltering in place.
So thanks for joining us today. And remember,
we want to be your realtors for life.